Welcome to Build Your Dream Network. I'm Kelly Hoey. I see people struggling to connect effectively all the time, so I created this podcast to help you master your network building needs. Whether you're seeking a new job, looking for a promotion, or scaling your business, you need a network, and you're in the right place to get the advice you need. And don't worry, my advice is real. It's actionable and practical because it's the advice I follow and is what has transformed my career from the traditional to the unexpected. So let's get started. This week, I want to tackle some of the clutter on your calendar and perhaps some of the commitments you're avoiding or bypassing. In particular, I want to talk to you about professional groups and organizations. I know, grown, this is really unsexy work obligation networking, and who wants to talk about that on, well, a podcast that should be about more fun networking. But guess what? I want to talk about it because these are essential networks for your career, and some of you have yet to figure that out. What precisely do I mean by professional groups and organizations? Well, these could be governing bodies within your industry or active influential groups in the community or business sector. The membership of these groups probably includes your peers and colleagues and, competitors too. These are the groups that, if large enough, have local and regional chapters, along with a national presence. If you're already a member of one of these groups, you've probably received numerous save-the-date emails for next year's annual national conference or reminders to submit your fees. So, are we clear now on what types of groups we're addressing in this episode? Good. Now, these groups are a big Build Your Dream Network issue for this reason. Many of you don't think you need to join industry associations. And yeah, you know who you are. You're the why would I need to network with my industry peers types. For those of you who avoid networking with your industry peers, take note. Industry networks are essential sources for, industry insights. Well, you could read the article or download the PowerPoint of a keynote presentation from an annual conference. The facts don't give you the full story. It's the between session and hallway conversations where you unlock what's really going on in your industry. That intel doesn't make it onto a PowerPoint or into print. It's the industry info shared between people who know each other, even if knowing each other means running into a familiar face once a year at a conference. And how are you going to be known if you don't bother to show up? Let's dial it back to when I was making an earlier career change and my strong desire at the time to shift career gears from practicing law to managing lawyers. While exploring career paths for my law degree and researching non-lawyer roles within the legal industry, I discovered the National Association for Law Placement. Now I'm going to pull from their website. An association of over 2,500 legal professionals who advise law students, lawyers, law offices, and law schools in North America and beyond. With NELP, as the National Association of Law Placement is known, I found my tribe. Sure, on the website I could find the tools, resources, job listings, and salary surveys I needed. However, by attending NELP conferences, I unearthed real opportunities. A different kind of digging around. So don't imagine there is a secret document hidden somewhere on an organization's website which unlocks all the mysteries of an industry. The truth is, by listening, showing up, and making connections, you land upon the information you're seeking, and so much more. By showing up at my first NELP conference, I landed a mentor. And I reconnected with numerous folks who I had previously imposed upon for informational interviews. I'd followed up and stayed in touch via email in the interim, that is, between the coffee dates and then running into them at the conference. But being seen at the conference was a game changer for me. It was evidence to all these people that I was truly serious about making the career change. And as a result, they took me much more seriously too. I was the recipient of more introductions and more valuable job leads after attending that first conference. I also had professional references, which I was lacking. Let me go again back to when I was making that career change. I was applying for management roles where, quote, I had no experience. My industry connections, let's be clear here, these were connections in an industry I was looking to join at the time. These connections vouched for me because I showed up and engaged with them as a peer by attending their industry conferences. Fast forward to when I ultimately landed my first law firm management role. Because of my industry connections, I had a crucial network of contacts at competitor firms to turn to with questions and to glean ideas from. These people had more experience, and they'd been there, they'd done that, they'd faced the challenges that I was facing in my first 3 to 6 months as a new manager. Stopping to think about it for a second, the industry insights and connections were responsible for getting me the job in the first place, partially due to the heads up on the sudden job opening. But I'd place more weight on the insider information I was able to pull out during the interview process as the reason I got the job. So why else would you want to get involved with your industry peers? I hinted at a big reason earlier: references. When you're talking to a recruiter in your industry about a job you've seen listed and want to be considered for, don't imagine for a moment that they aren't conducting a little background check on you, unearthing your reputation in the industry, what your peers think about you and know about you. Not having visibility and connections in your industry is not a smart career move when you're seeking a new job or doing or learning the job you're in. Here's your networking task for this week. Reconsider your lack of engagement or involvement in the relevant organizations in your profession or industry. Time to reassess the cost of standing on the sidelines if that's what you're doing. I'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to Build Your Dream Network. Stay connected and don't miss a networking insight by subscribing to the podcast. And while you're there, I'd love you to rate and review the show too. Are you looking for more networking advice? Pick up a copy of my book, Build Your Dream Network. It's your guide to modern networking. I'd like to hear your networking questions, tips, and ideas. Connect with me via my website, jkellyhoey.co. You'll find links to all my social media accounts, plus a contact form to email me your questions. I'm Kelly Hoey, and I'll be back again next week to tackle your networking challenges.